Hey guys, welcome back to the podcast. I've got Jason Farris with me, who happens to be, for those of you that don't know, my personal real estate coach. You know, I mean, come on now.
It seems funny doing that. It really does.
Why does that seem funny?
We're peers, man.
No, but you're my coach.
You have an amazing business. I don't know. It feels funny.
Not as amazing as yours. So why don't you tell us a little bit about FresYES, how you built that, the whole story behind it.
Oh, wow. By the way, are we on camera and audio or just
We're on both.
We're on both.
And then we're on this particular camera over here. She's probably drawing all over your face. I don't know what's going on.
She's having a lot of fun.
She could be.
Nicole behind the scenes.
Nicole behind the scenes. That is a racket. 100%. 100%.
So I don't know, about 15 years ago is when I got into it.
Like into real estate or
yeah,
started
real
building?
estate.
Okay.
Real estate. So I sold ag land just for a short period of time, year and a half, 2 years. Fresno is an agricultural-based community. Those pistachios, those almonds probably came from my backyard.
Love it.
Right, good stuff. And so at some point, when the market was in the middle of the big boom, when you had everyone lining up. Did you have that happen in your market?
15 years. Yeah.
People literally lining up outside of new home developments. The lotto system. We've got 50 homes to sell.
Oh God, yeah, we did,
Nicole.
Nicole.
100 in line.
Lining up, not lottery.
There was
lining
a
up for
lottery
homes
system.
in 2004. Like there was multiple offers on everything.
Yeah.
I bought 3 homes, 1921, lost my shirt because I didn't know what I was doing, and completely bankrupt my mid-20s. So I know the market you're talking about. So you got in that market.
I was selling the land to the developers.
03, okay.
Right, and so my uncle
Before it really exploded.
Yes.
Okay.
So my uncle during that part said, "Hey, there is no way that these guys are going to be able to build on this land anymore. They're paying $250,000 an acre. It just doesn't compute."
Wow. In Fresno, California.
Fresno, California.
Okay.
And it was funny. Like some farmers would jump on the opportunity, like, "Wow, you're going to give me how much money?" Like, okay, I guess I'm done. And then there was others. Right?
I won't farm anymore.
Right. And then there was others that said, "Well, I want $260 an acre." Right? And you're like, no, man, just take the $250. You've got 200 acres, or you got 400. Like, are you kidding me? And then those people, when the market crashed, were the first ones going, "Will they buy it now?" And you're like, "They won't give you $1,000."
Yeah, exactly.
So I made the switch from land to residential right about that time.
When the market was crashing.
Basically, I had 1 year in the market before it crashed, and so tough for me. Like
because you were starting.
Found myself in the foreclosure market.
REOs.
Yeah.
You did REOs.
Yes.
So you did the REO game for how many years?
I'm going to look at my person here. What was it? 3 years? About 3 years, yeah. About 3 years of REO. So you used to have these REO kits in the back of your car, right, with rubber gloves and disinfectant and things to turn on the water illegally in the street because they turn off the water.
But was your company like the marketing machine it is today? Was it FresYES or was it like something completely different?
No. Well, so I worked for another company.
You were working for another company?
I went from land to residential. I interviewed it at a locally owned place, about 100 different agents. Old school broker, right? Love him, but I didn't stay long because I embraced social media early. Like I signed. I'm like, if you look at my Twitter account, it's like first week. Of Twitter, right? Like my account was formed like in the first week of when they opened. My parents were both really into tech. Computer programmers, system analyst type people, and so I grew up with it, and so I was aware of Twitter and its beginning days, and so when I made so here's the cool thing. So I made my switch from land to residential. The first thing I did is like, well, how the heck? Why would someone work with me versus all these other agents who have been doing it for years? Like, how am I going to make myself different? And I went to their websites and which I'm sure all purchased on like GoDaddy or something, right? And it was the same thing. It was just a picture of their face with them like their thumb up, and then their listings. I'm like, well, I don't have any listings. And like, why would they choose me over anybody else? So I knew what WordPress was. I knew what blogging was. And so I thought, you know what? I'm just going to get up there and write.
Okay.
The company I owned prior to real estate was a party planning company. And I had games. I had sumo wrestling suits. Have you ever seen that?
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Charlie's Angels, like they were made famous in the movie Charlie's Angels. Rock climbing walls, sumo suits. I was
bounce houses, that kind of stuff.
Houses.
Yeah, okay.
I was a clown.
You would go there and you could like that was the upsell. Like if you want the clown, you're gonna like.
The upsell was the sumo suits, but yeah, no, I started off as a clown, then I'm a magician, juggler, street performer, walked on stilts.
You were a magician.
Yeah.
And it's
Today I still do it. I make wine disappear.
Magic's 100% bullshit, right? Obviously.
No, man. There's lots
that a
of
dumb question?
Skill behind it.
No, of course it's skill, but there's like it's amazing when you watch
Look,
these like
wrestling's real.
dude, I love wrestling.
What you gonna do?
Yeah, absolutely. Snap into a Slim Jim, brother.
Did you see my reference to wrestling on Monday?
No.
Yesterday?
Oh, yeah.
I said that Tom went from to a heel in one line. I don't know how many people understood what I was saying, but that's really what he did. So I had a party planning business, and it was called Youth Entertainment Services, and it was a very collegiate style logo, and so it was YES. And so when I was trying to figure out the name of my blog, I was like, Fresno Real Estate, Fresno Reals, like
Fresno Realty. Yep.
Yeah, and everything's taken or just, and I'm sitting there in my chair, and I remember like looking at the logo, I go, I'll just put yes, and that Fresno. And then I'll just stick to telling good stories because people make fun of Fresno in movies. Have you heard Fresno being made fun of in a movie?
Paul, these guys know that I know nothing about movies. I didn't even know who Sean Penn was when they met him.
Who's Sean Penn?
It's like a running joke now this week.
Who's Sean Penn?
I don't know. I don't think anybody knows, but this collection of individuals, they know.
There was actually one movie I know Sean Penn was in. It was a movie. He was in prison, and there was someone was a nun that was trying to get him out of prison.
I don't know. But Sam should know.
Sam knows. Sam
knows all. He knows all these fun facts. No, so I know nothing really about movies, but I have heard people here in California pick on Fresno a little bit. I will say that.
So there's movies. Like, matter of fact, there's a blogger in our town who once upon a time wrote a blog with every reference to every movie or TV show that made fun of Fresno, and it's long. Like the movie Heat makes fun of it. Karate Kid. One or two.
That's a
make
great
fun of him.
movie.
Like his mom's gonna.
I know that movie.
The mom's gonna ship him to Fresno, and he's like, Fresno, who lives in the armpit of California, and so they always, and it bothered me because I love traveling, love traveling.
I haven't been to Fresno, so if you're living in Fresno, where do you spend your time? Like outside of Fresno, like what are the half hour, 45-minute like locations?
So to me that's the big selling point. They call it, we're in the Central Valley. And so we're central to a lot of things. I can be at 4 different beaches within 2 hours. I can be in San Francisco in 3 hours. I can be in LA 3 hours. I can be in Yosemite in 2 hours. So I'm just like really close to a lot of different things. Like people fly into Fresno to go to Yosemite from all around the world. So we're not getting anywhere in 30 minutes. If you go 30 minutes, you're going to be in a farm.
Okay. All the farmland that you sold to people that they never developed on.
Yes.
All the old Jason Farris things.
Some of them did not develop on them because they bought them too late, or there was option arms, and
All right, so you did that, and then you're like, okay, I came across this name, FresYES, and then how'd you build that up?
So I said I'm gonna be committed to telling the good stories about the town, and I'm not gonna waver no matter what.
Which I think we like right now on Nicole actually was really the driving force behind this. I have a radio show on Saturdays, a local, just radio, like regular radio, not podcasts, right? We turn it into a podcast. But anyways, it's all people that live in Connecticut. And right now, Connecticut, I think last year our governor was ranked the second worst governor in all of the country. And there's high taxes, and there's just like people fleeing for Florida and all this kind of stuff, right? So Nicole's like, why don't you just get on the radio and just talk about all the upside that when people are fleeing, there's obviously opportunity. There's always going to be upside in every scenario if you take a positive spin. So that's what you do. You're like, okay, people want to shit on Fresno. We're not shitting on it. We're going to go FresYES, and we're going to tell the good stories.
That's right. And we just don't waver. And we don't get political. But I mean, the reality is this. Look, like there's a lot of great places to live. Like, I mean, all across maybe Connecticut. I mean, there's amazing places. So if you don't like where you live, move.
Yeah.
Like just sell your house with me. Right, and then move.
Just
but
do
I mean,
that first.
The reality is, you've got one life, right? Like, and if you're living in a place that you don't want to live in, dude, like,
what year was this?
Pick up the car and go.
What year was this when you started FresYES?
This would have been 2007.
Okay, so it was like when you were in the residential upswing.
Yeah.
How long you're at? What are you at? 65 agents right now?
65 agents. So we'll work quick through this. So so I'm telling the good stories about Fresno. The more I do it, right, the more business comes my way. At some point, there's so much coming my way that I really can't handle it. And so I'm like, so what I choose is take the work and I stop telling the stories. And I'm like, I kid you not, the business goes down. So I hired writers to tell the stories. I just reached out on Twitter. Any like-minded people that want to tell good stories about Fresno, contact me. And so I reached an agreement with them on how I'd pay them when they wrote. And then I started getting buyer's agents. The brokerage I was at the time, so I had gone from land to one residential company. I said old school, that's what he was, because he believed the value of our agent was in holding the data. This is back when they had the real estate books.
Yeah, I know those
Internet
guys.
was just starting to come out. And I'm wanting to take pictures. I'm wanting to share everything on the internet.
You want to give the information to the consumer because that's the right thing to do.
Yes.
Yes, I understand.
And he just basically said no. He took my FresYES.com site and he's like, look, before you can post anything on there, you got to get our approval. I'm like, first of all, I'm a broker. Second of all, like, I'm not even talking about like the homes. I'm talking about the city and the people who live in it and the things you can do. And so
you were branding.
We had a
You
disagreement.
were branding, and he was scared as shit.
Yeah.
Is what it was, right?
Yeah. He was trying to fight a war he'd never win.
So you went, but so
So
FresYES.
I left.
You left.
Went on my own.
On your own.
Officially started FresYES.
Yep.
And that was
How many
short
people?
sale
How many
industry.
people when you started?
Myself
You.
and one other.
Like an assistant or something?
Another agent.
Another
We
agent.
just
So
handled it.
2 people. And I was asking you, we were here. We almost did a podcast before we did this podcast.
Yeah.
So we were jamming with Tom Toole. I was asking him a lot of questions about recruiting because one thing we're super passionate about right now is recruiting really good agents that fit the mold. You're at 65 right now. I'd love for you to share with us a little bit about that journey of recruiting 65 agents. Like, was there a moment in time where the floodgates opened and you got 20, like, boom? Was it just like brick by brick by brick? How did it go?
So myself and one other agent, we get an offer from a company. I say no, another offer. Finally, I go. And so I'm working at another brokerage. I still had mine. I just didn't do much underneath it. And then I start building the business, right? I'm scaling FresYES.com. I'm writing 2-3 stories a day. We're getting more business. I have some buyer's agents. They're staying super busy. And then this company gets bought out by Berkshire Hathaway. And just some things change. No issue against them or me or anything. Just some things change. And it just seemed like it was the opportunity probably for me to move on and do my own thing. So then I said, I'm done here, and everything is just FresYES. That day was about 2.5 years ago.
So FresYES was your team at that point.
FresYES, .com was the blog, right? And then FresYES, that was it. And so it was Jason Farris' team, I guess.
Okay, got it.
This is before teams were even really, no one even knew what a team was.
Understood.
Like, literally people were making policy around what I was doing because they had no idea what I was doing.
You were one of the original disruptors.
Absolutely.
Of these brokerage models.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. And so and I'm going to them saying, look, I want an office. I'll pay for the office. I just need an office. I want to keep my team together so we can have more consistency in what we do. And they just they couldn't comply with that. And that's fine. And so I left. So that day I left with the only person really knowing, other than the CEO of that company, was my assistant, who's Corey down the way.
Who's amazing, by the way.
Yeah, I stole her from the other company because she used to work with somebody else doing short sales and REOs. She worked with the REO queen in our market. So she had a history of volume. Like, she could handle the volume, which is what I was doing, right? Because I was selling more units than anybody else. No one really knew that because I allowed my team to write the deals up in their own name.
Mm-hmm.
So when they look at my production,
which is what we do.
They're just really seeing my production.
Yeah, which happens to, I believe, be the right thing to do.
I think it's the right thing to do, and I think that's why a lot of teams struggle on retention.
Mm-hmm.
Is because they still look. It's nice for someone to see their name on a rider, like on the bottom of the sign.
100%.
I worked hard. I got this listing, and then I see Byron's name.
Yeah.
Or I see Jason's name. Like, where's my name?
100%.
Yeah, and they like to see their production and stuff. So I've always been like that. But that goes to the recruiting question. So we end up. It's just so I tell her, hey, I'm doing it today, and she says, okay, great. And when I do it, I respectfully give my team a call, and they have no obligation, of course, to come with me, but they do. So it was day 2, and it was myself, Corey, and 6 others. And I have only picked up the phone to recruit one time. I called one agent.
Are you fucking kidding me?
No.
So you went from 6 to 65 with never
in
recruiting?
2 years with no official recruiting.
How the fuck did you do that?
Culture.
But how? If you're not picking up the phone, people just... How many agents are in Fresno?
4,000 in our MLS.
Okay. Nobody. Everybody came to you.
We have literally could pick up the phone.
Everybody came to you
tomorrow
because of the content you were putting out?
What I do for the community is a big part of it. They just say they on board with the idea that
And so literally agents just
doing
started
a movie in the park.
There had to have been something else. Corey, I'm calling bullshit. There had to have been something else to recruit to go from 5 to 65.
Look, here
everybody just called you and was like, Jason.
I know this sounds bullshit, but it's true. Like, I just do the right thing. And I treat people well.
But people
and I produce, right? So maybe that's a bit of it, right?
Okay.
Like, so as an individual, I list more homes than anybody in our market for the last 3 or 4 years.
Right. I get
Period. So a smart person who's getting in the market is going to say to themselves, look, I want to align myself with the best.
My point is some agents are going to be intimidated by that. Number one.
Competing.
They're not even, well, they're not competing with you. They're just not going to pick up the phone because they're going to be like, he's not even going to answer because he's the top dog. Like, so there's that.
I get that.
Then I mean, this is what I'm finding. So I'll just share, and you can coach me up on this, coach. Like, you can call bullshit on me, right? Like, I also find a lot of people are like, well, geez, I've got deals in escrow right now. Like, it's not the right time. Like, once the deals, filter out, then it'll be right the time. Like, and all this kind of stuff. So people are just like, fuck it? Or were they brand new agents? Like,
a mix of both, but yeah, they do say fuck it. I'm willing to take. But again, so I've got such good rapport with the other brokers and the other managers and other owners of companies that they understand if it's me, it's okay. And it's really, I don't want to, I don't know.
No, that's amazing.
But I mean, look, that's just it. I treat people well, and I've always done that. And so I think that my recruiting probably began years ago. And only because I don't want to sounds horrible, but I don't think there's a manager, and Corey we can ask Corey. I don't think there's a manager or owner of a company in town that would say anything bad about me. Because I treat them well. I'm always honest, ethical. I respond. And
I get that. I just think
this is a marathon.
I just think it's rare to see an agent take the action, right?
To call, but they do.
Because
I'm real thankful.
Because
it's pretty amazing.
Because FresYES is a boutique brokerage, basically, right? Yeah. So, it's not like a new agent. Like a new agent gets, kind of blinded by the lights. Like, oh, CB or KW or whoever it might be, right? Yeah. In their marketplace, like, well, that's who I'm supposed to go to, and that manager's like really pitching me hard, or I met them in the training class. So there are definitely managers getting to new agents, especially before they ever know who you are.
We don't touch those people.
Right.
Matter of fact, up until recently, most people didn't think we'd take them on. When we went from 6 to like 15
and there's
or 20,
that
first 6 to 20, all of them were like, I just wanted to ask, I didn't think you took on agents. I thought you were kind of a closed group. Like, can we have a conversation? Like, and now we don't get that very often now because now we've grown so much. But now what I said to you was that we went from 6 to 65. What I didn't say is people have called me and we've met and they've decided to go somewhere else.
Yeah.
So I'm not like 100% on everyone who walks in my door. Sometimes it's not a fit for me.
Now
and it's a tough thing for me to say because I want to help them. I want to make it work, but sometimes it's just not a good fit. And sometimes it's not for them. Or maybe they see they're attached to the shiny object. I didn't hear the objection. I didn't hear what it is.
What's interesting though? The calls were definitely coming in when you were a boutique brokerage, not a team.
I don't know.
Well, right, because
because
when you started the brokerage, you were 6 people.
Yeah, and so we didn't get the calls then.
You didn't get the calls when you were a team.
No,
that's interesting.
No, it wasn't until a couple people came over, then all of a sudden they're like, "Whoa, like you're not just the 6 of you. Like you'll take more people." And then it was like boom, 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 boom.
And the floodgates open.
Yeah. Well, I think the production is a big deal of it because look, in 2016, I listed 144 homes and worked with 60 some odd buyers. So I did 200 transactions by myself. And
it's 2018 right now.
Double what everyone else did.
In 16, or let's go to 15. 15. How many people did you have?
In 2015.
3 years ago. Let's just say 3 years ago. What do you think?
Under 10.
Under 10. So it's been in the last 3 years.
Last 2 years.
Last 2 years. So the floodgates open. And so I believe then, and this is what
And
we've been talking
but it
about a
goes
lot
to
on our
everything.
team.
Like earlier, we were talking about like what you wear to a listing appointment.
Yeah.
The Tom tool. Like, I think that's part of it too. Like, what they see when they walk
Mm-hmm.
in is what they get with me. Like, you will
I agree.
almost always see a pair of sneakers, jeans, and a polo of some sort on me.
But it makes a lot more sense to me now that a lot of it happened in the last 2 years, because this is what we've been talking about a lot on the team. I'm like, listen, I know for a fact when we get 2 or 3 top producers at the end of this year that we've been working on, that people are going to be like, oh, she went where? He did what? Oh.
And that's
then
where,
the calls start coming in, because it's like, oh, I didn't realize, oh, shit. Can
and
I?
the proof's in the pudding too. So now, as my agents have gotten better, right, now we're getting calls from better agents.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I shouldn't say better.
Producers.
Higher producing agents.
Yeah.
Higher producing agents. And so, look, I'm on a point right now where, like, I got to either stay where I'm at or I'm expanding, and I'm going to expand, going bigger, and I will be picking up the phone, and I will be officially recruiting soon.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm not really worried about that. I think it's going to be ridiculous. Like, I'm going to have somebody in charge of getting them onboarded, because I think I could get, 2 or 3 a day. Like, I envision, like, literally having an event around it. Like, okay, I've called you 50 people together. I only got 30 spots that I can handle and
That's
onboard.
brilliant.
And then you give them the whole pitch. Like, here's everything that we provide for
You're
you.
basically have a half-a-day seminar type of deal. Yeah.
And then say, and there's 50 of you, there's 30 contracts.
Mm-hmm.
The first 30 that sign them up are onboarded. The rest, you'll have to wait till the next time we do this, which may be
A
I
rose?
should hand out a rose. Oh, like, here's a rose. But see, I want to reverse it. Can they give me the rose?
Yes, they can give you the rose.
First 30 roses I get? Yeah, no. You don't get one. You're not in.
This is the all-time
But I
now
think that's-
TV show for real estate. We've just created
But
it.
that's how I want to do. I think that's how strong our brand is now. I think that's how strong our
Well,
culture is now.
Here's what I
is
think.
that we could have, Corey, am I wrong? Couldn't I host something where I really go out and give all the benefits of being a part of our company?
What's a better idea to do the half-a-day seminar?
Instead of interviewing.
Yeah. Dude, I think, because you have, yeah.
Yeah,
And
and
I
show a
think 'cause-
video of all the different community events, all the resources you provide, the coaching.
I think because you have the leverage right now. So if you get the 50 people in a room, they're going to show up. And then you're going to deliver the right message. So what you're doing is exactly what, it's exactly what I always talk about with these guys, with Nicole and Jill and Sam, and like everybody on our team. Like, if we build the best brand, we're going to, like, we could spend all our money right now on Zillow leads and make money in the short term, right? Like, we could spend $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 a month and make money in the short term. Or we can invest in people. We can invest in people like Jill, invest in people like Sam, invest in people like my sister who's doing writing for us now. Like, and I know for a fact that that's going to pay off, because we're building something that a disruptor like Open Door can't take away from us. We're building something real, a brand, something we can stand behind. And I just 100% believe the floodgates open at some time, because I kind of went there on brand. I don't even have to ask you how important brand is, because I know that you, like, you're the model, right? So let's talk about the disruptors that I think all of us need to pay attention to.
There's a lot of interesting things going on in our market right now.
It was interesting because we're here in Anaheim. We're at a conference, and the only thing of the day that I disagreed with my boy TF, and TF, I love you, changed my life in so many ways. The only thing I disagreed with is, like, he's like, you shouldn't pay close attention or give a shit about these disruptors. I think you 100%, if you're in this game and building something and building brand, should pay attention to it. What disruptor, meaning, do you think the biggest disruption in real estate is Open Door and these types of companies? Do you think it's ourselves? Like, which one should we be paying attention to the most as an agent?
Well, so I don't really care about, like, the particular brand disruptors. Like, the EXP's got some fire going
Or
right
EXP,
now.
like,
whatever. Like, I don't care so much about that. I think what's interesting, what's happening right now is Zillow. I think what they're doing is interesting.
Buying the mortgage company this week?
And yeah, this week they bought the mortgage company. So, and look, I mean, Greg Schwartz or somebody's going to watch this, Spencer's going to watch this, right? Or listen. Like, they will, because
These guys definitely are listening.
who we are. But so if we talk about brand,
I can show you my Facebook inbox. They're listening.
I mean, it's really, they're their own worst enemy. Zillow is. They did an amazing job building their brand. They have. Everybody
Yeah.
knows who they are. Back in the day, right? Early Zillow, you went as a consumer, you went to Zillow when you were ready to buy. I'm ready to buy, and if I know Zillow, this is where I go. Zillow wanted more of those people, right? So they're doing on these, spending a ton of money on digital advertising, ton of money on TV ads, right? Making these emotional calls. They want to reach more agents, so they're reaching more agents, and how do they do that? Mass media. And so they build this amazing brand, and so, which is great for them, right? More eyes on their target. And we're buying these ads, right? So we can get leads or opportunities for relationships. But by creating this, they went from the people that are ready to buy now to basically porn surfers. They're just HGTV-ish, right? Like, oh, look at this house, look at this house, look at this house, look at this house. This is where they go to look at homes. Not because they're ready to buy today, just because they're curious. Like,
Right.
if you look at all the reality TV shows, the top-rated ones are all about real estate.
Or it's like, did you see Mr. Smith in our neighborhood listed a house? Well, let's go look at his price.
Yeah.
What the fuck is he thinking?
And so they did an amazing job of getting people to understand that that's where you go to look for
To
homes.
figure it out.
To just peek, to look.
Yep.
But by doing that, right, they go, look at all these impressions, Mr. Agent. Look at all these people looking. But they're not really looking to buy today. But because of this traffic, they're able to sell more ads, be able to charge more. And by doing that, they've effectively eliminated any type of positive return on investment that we can have. Now,
Through their current model.
Through their current model. And it's interesting.
Which is going to change.
Which is going to change, right? I mean, these are brilliant people.
100%.
They are brilliant people. They didn't wake up one day and say, hey, let's buy and flip some homes.
No, they built Expedia and then decided we'll disrupt this industry.
Yeah,
Like, you know what I mean?
and look, I have no problem with the company making a profit, right? I mean,
Not at all.
You know, and so I'm fine with that. You know, and we as the agents just need to figure out, just like I did years ago, we have to figure out where our value is. I think it's, you know, today it's still going to be in telling people what it's like to actually live in a neighborhood. Zillow can't do that. Zillow's not going to put a man on the street in every neighborhood across the United States
It's not
to be
scalable.
able to. They can't scale that, you know. And so there's always going to be a need for us. It's just where are we going to position? Are we going to be the one that they call?
Or do you think that Zillow should basically stomp out Inman and say we're going to be the sports center of this thing as well? I mean, the way you were just describing it just popped into my head. Like, what if they said, okay, because you know they Facebook inbox me, and because they know we've got the real word, and they certainly want us to have accurate information, all this stuff. Why don't they just inbox me one day and say, hey Byron, we're launching the sports center of real estate, and we'd like you to have a half hour, you and Nicole
They
White,
could.
to bring the real word.
And it wouldn't surprise me.
And then now they have maybe one interesting person in each state.
Yeah, they could do that. They've got
That could be a play.
and they have the financial means to do these things. And so, will they do them? I think they probably will. The mortgage thing, most of us kind of saw that coming, and they're pitching it like, hey, we want to give the consumer a consistent experience. Back when Greg Schwartz got up on several stages about a year and a half ago, and he talked about the Amazon experience. And I went into my office, right, and people I coach, the people I mentor and stuff across the country, and I gave them the same speech. One thing, the reason why everyone uses Amazon is not because it's the cheapest. Like, you can go buy a bottle of Advil at the drugstore for less, but you can know when you order something from Amazon, it's going to show up.
It's the most convenient.
It's convenient, it's consistent. And so it's just what it is. And so that's where they want to be, right? They want a consistent
Man, I think I just nailed. I actually hope Zillow's not watching this, because I think I just nailed it for him. Like, you're now like looking in your neighborhood, like you're saying real estate porn, you're looking, and then this pops up, like you're looking in Fresno. Hey, here's the Jason Farris show. Do you want to find out more about the community? He's got 3 new podcasts uploaded.
Wow, they could, yeah. They could do
they
that.
can do it.
But that's
whatever
what.
they
So
want.
imagine for a second, right? So you have a home you want to sell, and you can be like, hey, I may not get the most amount of money if I sell it to Zillow. Well, in fact, I'm not going to get the most amount of money because they're going to do something with the home, and so there's got to be a margin for them. But if I sell with them, I'm going to get the same experience as everybody else has gotten, and it's going to be very uniform, very precise. Of course, that's what they expect, but I beg to differ what's going to happen on the other side, because this is a home, right? So how they can't control the outcome of the home inspection. right? And so I don't know what happens there. So that'll be interesting. But people will know at the base level, they make me an offer. This is what I'm going to net, and this is how it's going to go. I'm not probably even going to talk to anybody. It's just click, 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 and I'm done. On the buying side, I think they've got some issues there too. Like, yes, can you give them a consistent experience with a mortgage company? Sure, but there's still issues. Mortgage companies run credit reports, right? They pull tax reports, and all of a sudden the tax report shows that there's a foreclosure 6 years ago, not 7, you know, and like, oh man, you know, it hits the fan. Like, and that's going to fall on their brand. They want to protect their brand, and they're headed into territories that we know as experienced real estate agents are volatile. Like, shit happens in a transaction all the time. We have experience, we can see around the corner, like, hey, we see some red flags here. They're not going to see those red flags, because that's going to hit them in the face.
Yeah, they're not boots on the ground. So,
no boots
and to your point, right now, they are spending the money, so they're investing in buying homes right now, and they're propped up by charging agents these advertising fees. And so, I mean, you could almost, you know, everyone's like Gary Keller, like when the market drops, you're going to see people like, you know, or companies like Open Door and these companies start to lose because they've taken so much risk, they've got so much, you know, inventory, whatever it is. Zillow could be in a situation where agents don't have the money to pay them the advertising fees in a down market because they're not selling as many transactions.
That's a good angle. I never thought about that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, even though they're the big dog at the top of the hill, I guess theoretically, you start, you know, I mean, the stock, just this week when they bought the mortgage company, it went down.
They're in the midst of, I think
know.
they're in the midst of changing their model. I think, and you can just, I'm sure somewhere there's a whiteboard, right, with the timeline.
Yeah.
This is when we announce this. This is when we announce this. This is when we announce this. I don't know that they're going to be like a broker. I don't know if that's it. I don't know. I'd love to be able to see into that room. There's a room somewhere, and this has all been mapped out. They're brilliant minds, and they have a plan, and it may or may not include you and I, and that's okay, right? Because we may not include them, you know, down the road.
And so you think Zillow's the biggest disruptor, but that's why
it's an interesting.
That's why you're doing what you're doing. You're building the brand around the community you're going to serve.
Yeah, and I fully believe, like, again, I pay Zillow right now, right? So, but I fully believe I could turn it off tomorrow, and I've deliberately positioned myself this way. I could turn it off tomorrow, and I could do the exact same, if not more, business. I just have to focus my energy somewhere else. That's it, right? I got to put out more content, continue to act in a very trustworthy manner, and make sure everybody knows I'm doing it.
So what's your next step to do that?
Well, I'm here on your show. That's it. Well, I don't know.
That's not going to be it for you. What's your next step? Like, what are you going to invest in over the next 3 years to do that?
I've said this, and you and I have this in common. This is what's really exciting about our relationship, is that, like, when I started FresYES, like when I went back in, right? Because I had it, but when I said, okay, I'm in, let's do this, I almost put media on my signs. I almost called it FresYES Media. Or ditch the FresYES altogether, and just because I truly believe that there's a day, and it's coming very soon, where I will go into a listing appointment against a different agent, and that agent's gonna say, well, I put a sign in the yard, and I put it on Facebook, and I do this and that, and I'm going to say, well, my advertising agency handles brands like Pepsi, BMW, McDonald's, you know, and I'm gonna say, and I'm gonna treat you just like I treat them. Like, and they're gonna go, wait a second, you handle BMW, and you're gonna market my home? Yeah. And I just, by the way, I happen to have some very skilled real estate agents that actually works for my media company.
Basically under the roof. Yeah, that's
it.
Right.
I mean, we're a media company first. We're a media company first that happens to sell real estate, and we employ very highly trained agents that are good in negotiations, that understand the contract. We do all this, but first, we know how to effectively advertise homes in the digital world.
It's what we're building under one roof, one in company cubed, and I always say this. I'm like, real estate's the realest fucking thing out there. Like, doesn't matter who you are in the world, in America, right? Like, you know, I'm not global, so we'll just go in the country. Like, it doesn't matter who you are. You're going to be involved in real estate somehow. You're living somewhere, right? So everybody we come in contact with is going to benefit from the media company, from the marketing company, right? In some way, they're going to have a connection that can benefit to it or whatever.
Everybody. And also our actions, while we'll be hired by other companies, our actions always need to be very trustworthy, because they need to know that they're working with someone they can trust, because they're handing us their $200, $500 million investment and saying, do what's best for me. And we will, right? But if we're not acting trustworthy over a long period of time, we won't earn their business. Yeah. I think that's what Zillow's trying to do, right? Is they're just trying to build a consistent experience for the consumer. They're wanting the agents to be better, which I applaud them for that. I want them to be better too. But so you asked me, where's my investment? My investment is fully going into the media
Into
company.
yourself. That's the smartest play you can do. A couple funny questions, 'cause I don't even know what's going on with our audio now, and I know these guys desperately want me to
But Sam's
do
like,
something else.
you
Sam's
know.
like, we're good? All right, Sam thinks we're good. A couple funny questions. Who right now is the most influential person to, like, for you, like for what you're trying to build, like out there? It could be in the real estate industry or not in real estate. Like, who's the most influential person you're listening to or watching or reading or whatever?
Well, I was slipped a 20 to say Nicole White.
Oh, you were, just give me that 20, we'll go have a martini.
But
She never carries cash on her, so that's a lot.
Yeah, that is a lot.
But Jill slipped me 25, so so it's interesting. So I'm a big, anybody who knows me knows I'm a big fan of Gary Vaynerchuk, and I think
And you know him personally.
And I know him personally, and I think he's just I think he's doing a lot of things right. So I just hired a new assistant. Her name's Cassie, and the first thing I did was tell her to subscribe to his YouTube channel, watch his podcast, and she's going to be helping me, formally launch the media company. We've been doing it for a while, but formally launching it. But look, this guy has a tremendous following, and he has the fastest growing media company across the United States. He obviously is doing something right. So he is a big influence. That said, I recently came in contact with Andrew Frisella, who I love this man's story. He's not for everyone, for sure, but I really like him a lot too.
Not for everyone, how? Like, just...
Well, like you and
He's a
I have
hard-ass
cursed
dude.
a few times, and he's, like Gary curses from time to time, like this guy curses a lot. He's a
more
good
than
old
Gary
boy.
Vaynerchuk?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Wow.
He's a good old boy. Like he has a story of, where he was weighed, I think, around what I weighed, 365. And then he, over a couple of years, lost that weight. He walked out of a bar and there was a fight going on, and he gets stabbed. He caught up, and he gets stabbed in
Was
his
he at
face
Agent
like
20,
20
21?
times. He was at Agent 2021.
We heard him talk.
I first started listening to his podcast about 2 weeks before Agent 2021, and I still today don't remember who turned me on to him. But I like his stuff a lot. He keeps me motivated, keeps me grounded a bit. So he's a big influencer right now. I love the story. I love his customer service. Like I'm into that customer service right now. Like I bought a product from him, and I got a card, and hand address, thank you. And then a couple weeks later, buy something else, and like I like that. I'm into customer service. Like my money's worth something, and if I'm going to give it to you, it's nice to just get a thank you.
All right, next, brand new agent. First thing you do, is it coaching? Is it join a team? Is it just start branding yourself and start figuring out there? Like, first thing you do.
First thing you do is understand the concept of database mastery and own it. There's nothing more important than the people you know.
Yeah, actually, that's the best advice.
That's just it. That's it. I mean, look, coaching's great. I mean, I don't know if a lot of people don't know this story, but like Tom Ferry called me, right, like on my phone and said, hey, like I don't understand why you're not into coaching. You need to get into coaching. And I'm like, nah, man, I don't know. I'll think about it.
He's actually the best salesperson in the whole organization, because he
literally called me personally.
wrote to me and at an Inman event. He's like, why aren't you doing coaching? I see you online. I'm like, I don't know. I never thought about it.
Yeah. And so, I told him, this is probably not good for me to say, but I said, man, I know some of your coaches are not that good. He's like, well, what do you mean? I said, they're not that good. Like, I sell more real estate than them. He's like, and then his answer was smart. He said, you're missing it. Like, some of them are better at other things. Some of them are good with marketing. Some are good with mindset. So,
Well, like Phil Jackson was never going to be the player Michael Jordan was, but Michael Jordan was never going to be the coach Phil Jackson was.
that's right.
Yeah.
And so that gave me, I thought about it that day. And then I started looking around at other leaders in other industries, and they all had coaches and mentors.
Yes.
Like, well, shit, who am I to think that I don't need one, right? And so I called him back. He's in his Tesla, in the car wash. he's taking my call, and it's switching between the Bluetooth in the car and the guy vacuuming it, right? And then him, you know, and so he's trying to walk far enough to have a conversation. And I say to him, I said, all right, I'm in. But here's the thing. I don't do cheap shit. So if I'm going to do this, I'm all in. And I will, every effort will be all in. But I want the best. So I want on your calendar. I'm hiring you, not one of your coaches.
Oh, he don't like that.
Well, actually, he chuckled and he says, you can't afford me. Which, dude, if you know me, I'm like, fuck, I'll take out a fucking loan on my house, dude. Man. Like, what do you mean?
Slap my Amex down right now.
And he said, okay. And he quoted me a price. And I said, okay, you're right. I can't afford you. And I said, so who's next? So then he introduced me to Steve Olson. And, you know, that was my first entry into being formally coached.
Love that.
And, you know, I haven't.
Are you still with Steve? Or?
We talk almost every day, but no,
Cool.
no, not coached by him at all. So.
Yeah. Do you still have a coach? Now that you are
I
a coach?
do. Mike Schum is my coach,
Yep.
and so he coaches my team, which is good. It's good for them to hear from a different voice other than me.
Yep.
I thought about hey, now that I'm coaching at this level,
Mike's a great dude.
but it's good for them to hear another voice, and to have somebody they can go to, and I appreciate that. That.
When I saw the interview, I forget who interviewed him, but the Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant coach. When I saw that interview with this dude, I was like, dude, I'll always have it. It was just like these dudes, like Kobe Bryant, not only having his coach on his team, but having the personal coach outside of the team, forever, for his whole career.
Yeah, I agree. And since then, now I've got a mentor in Sharon.
Mm-hmm.
You know Sharon. He does he does the West Coast 5 a.m. and you do the East.
Yeah,
right?
We did our.
You guys don't compete, dude. I just Nicole's looking at me like, oh.
I love. First of all,
name?
Sharon and I have a really good relationship. Not a limited relationship, but a very good relationship. I love Sharon. But I did take a friendly jab at him today, because we had our 5 a.m. meetup right here behind us.
Okay.
At 7:30 this morning, and I said, and we did a live. I said, Sharon, if you're watching, this is the real 5 a.m. call.
Oh,
right
do you guys have that?
No, because he always posts, Sharon, I hope he's seeing this now. He always posts online. He's always like, this is the original 5 a.m. call. So I'm just like, yo, this is the real one. We keep it real because we're on the East Coast. And I got West Coasters listening to the podcast, by the way, Sharon. So you gotta step your game up.
I did not know that.
I love Sharon. Dude,
yeah.
First of all, 100 billion times more successful than I am. So I have mad respect for Sharon.
So Steve introduced me to Sharon, and he's since become someone I lean on, and openly, he's just very giving individual.
Is he going to show up here this week?
I don't think so.
No.
Yeah.
He's very open to sharing. He's
normally I think he would, but some circumstances recently, so he won't be. But but he's like a mentor to me, right? I sent him my paper that I wrote on my journey and losing all my weight and stuff, and got his 2 cents from it, and I tweaked it a bit because of that. But
one of the best talks ever at Tom Ferry event was when he went through his listing presentation, right?
Right, and so it's funny. So Corey the other day or yesterday,
I think that was in San Diego.
She hears Eileen's speech on listing presentations, and Corey, we were walking out. She goes, "Gosh, you guys have a lot in common in your presentation." I said, "Well, yeah, because once you figure it out, right?
Once people
there's a road to success, and this is it.
You listen to that talk, you listen to Shrine, you take from that.
But at some point you realize, right?
Yeah,
You said the other day on one of our calls, you said, when I get on the phone, I set appointments, I don't ask for them.
Yeah.
At some point that clicks for somebody, and then they do that. And so you go on enough listing appointments, eventually you learn, where are the objections? What's the personality type? What do I need?
Yeah.
What do they need? Where can I provide value for them? And as soon as you can identify that and then give it to them, it's over.
You get a little lady on the phone, it's gonna be a little different. You're gonna be like, "Hey, I'll be at your house at 5 o'clock." You gotta know your audience a little bit too. Let's wrap this thing up.
Okay.
Let's do this. One little fun question. What book does everyone need to read? And then tell everyone where they can find you and that type of thing.
Right. So whether you're in the real estate industry, any business, there's a book I just read, and it's a short book, so if you're not a big reader, even better, right? It's called Be Like Amazon. The cover is of a lemonade stand, but it's phenomenal, and it's really about this system of we believe. we believe that the consumer should always be treated professionally, right? But there's this whole thing about we believe, and so they interviewed all these CEOs and all these founders of these businesses about what their beliefs were and how they instilled them. And a lot of times we talk about our core values, but this was interesting because they said we believe in this. We believe in our people. We believe in investing in people before profits. So I just finished this book. It's a short read, but man, I had my outliner, my highlighter out, my pen. Awesome book.
Which speaks to how you built your business going all the way back.
Yeah.
Just being a good guy and being very well respected.
Thank you.
Where can people find you?
Well, FresYES.com. On Instagram, Jason J. Farris. I gotta get that Jason
J.
I gotta add the J because
Who's got Jason Farris?
Some guy with one post. I
One
reached out
post?
to him so many times.
At Jason Farris on Instagram, you're a dickhead. If
Give me my Instagram.
either post more or give this man his IG handle. You got to give that
Yeah,
up.
and then JasonFarris.com is not mine. It's a graphic designer guy, I think in your neck of the woods. Maybe
Really?
Jill can go hit him up or something. He doesn't even use it. It forwards
Jill's-
automatically to
Is it
something
one of your
else.
balls, Jill, or this?
Jill buys up all domains. We were talking about domains yesterday, and she's like buying them right in front of me. Like,
Oh, yeah.
you can't have that one. I just bought it.
Did you guys buy one on him
Yes.
the other day?
Look at
Under
that.
my account?
Yeah.
On my account.
Yeah.
So my credit card?
Yeah.
So I own. I'll send it over to you. Don't
There
worry
you
about
go.
it.
There you go.
$12.
Dude, love
sell
you.
it to you for
Thank you. Awesome. Awesome podcast. Thank you.
I'm excited. Woo!
Check out FresYES.com.
All right.